Hello, I'm a 27-year-old visual artist based in Split, Croatia. I have a master's degree in fine arts, more specifically painting. I decided to make a YouTube channel for a few different reasons. Firstly, and more importantly, I wanted to record the process of creation of my works of art from start to finish in a form of a work journal of sorts, and create a personal archive. Secondly, and why I named the channel the way I did, is that more often than not I have been asked by friends, family, and even colleagues of similar professions, how does your day look? What is your job? What do artists do all day? And so I have decided to show them. Today I will be talking about another important aspect of this work, and that is embroidery. For some time now, I've been creating embroidered works, or at least works that in some way feature sewing, felting, or embroidery, and this book is no different. I've often been asked why embroidery, and honestly, I have always somehow failed to give an answer to that question. Just saying I like it seems somehow trivial and too flat. And so, I've been pondering a while, and I'll try to give some coherent reasons. I started embroidery in the first year of my master's studies, on a whim. A friend of mine tried it and showed me some Instagrams and whatnot, and I instantly fell in love. It was a whole new and unexplored medium for me. And for the longest time, I just didn't know why, but I think that I might have figured it out now. Firstly, I like that it's a medium that you can also touch. I feel like there are a lot of textures and layers that you can achieve. It's not just a visual thing. There are so many possibilities in different stitches and threads and materials and colors and beads and gold thread and etc. And in their combination lies an entire world you can create. You can combine felting and sculpture with embroidery and painting and embroidery like I did in this book. It's somehow so soft and warm and delicate, and also intricate, detailed, and organic. The last part being very important to me. It ends up being a living organism. It has a body, a mass, a presence in 3D. It's not just an image. The other reason why I think I'm so drawn to it is the temporality so inherent to the medium. It takes time, a lot of it, and an abundance of patience. It's a very slow process which gives you time to, well, slow down and think, get lost in what you're doing, almost like meditation. Time is vital to embroidery, and in a weird way, the process creates its own dimension. While you're doing it, it allows you to connect to yourself and enter a space just for you. The last reason would be that I like its tradition and I like its femininity. For a long time, I ran away from this implied femininity, and the fact it's always associated with women. But I celebrate it now. And in no way am I saying other people didn't, don't, or shouldn't embroider, because everyone should. It's a beautiful skill to have that centers you and connects you through touch with what you're doing. So that pretty much sums up the reasons why I like embroidery, and now I'm gonna talk about why I used embroidery in this work. So as always, there are several different reasons why I decided to do it. Firstly, I find it visually interesting to combine painting and embroidery together. It creates different layers and it makes the work more interesting. I always like using neutral colors because I feel they appear soft and delicate, otherworldly and timeless, yet close and familiar. And in a way, they allow us to project our own ideas and thoughts onto the work itself. Since this is a work that deals with the topics of memory and remembering, and its inspiration were images of fossils, I somehow found that such a color palette would work best. Memory is somehow warped time. It's a glimpse of past we experience again and again, because it always feels close to us. Painting and embroidery, techniques both very old, felt best for the job. I'll talk a bit more about the topics and themes of the book in some other journal entry, but for now it's important to mention that temporality and time are important, and that embroidery as a technique sort of goes hand in hand with this line of thought. It's timeless in the sense it captures and creates time, as I already said. What you are currently seeing and what I'm doing is embroidery on tulle, the material used for ballerina tutus, for example. And for me to explain why, I have to say something about the page I'm currently working on. So there are a few different quote-unquote types of pages in this book, and I will be also talking about that more in detail some other time. So this is part of a bigger centerfold double page, I don't really know exactly the term in English, that has 2 layers. The idea for such a double page happened by accident. I left 2 layers in my editing program open and they doubled on top of one another. And it just felt right when it happened. You know, like a happy little accident. Somehow putting these fossils that were sorted and neat on top of each other and getting this a little bit confusing image was sort of how you'd maybe see them in nature, all jumbled up, belonging to different places and time periods, brought together by the forces of nature through time. It's also sort of like our own memory, all scrambled together, intertwined, and oftentimes murky and not distinct. I decided to keep that page, and firstly I just wanted to paint the bottom layer and embroider the outlines of the top layer directly onto it. But it somehow wasn't enough. It didn't feel ephemeral or timeless enough. And that's where the tulle comes into play. I just think it gives the whole thing another layer. To sum it up, I imagined that the embroidered layer represents fragments of memory. Layers of remembering where real events get mixed up with those less clear. Where there are things that were just added by us to fill in the gaps. Because a lot of memories are murky and biased. And history is basically collective memory that the majority has agreed upon. And if we follow that line of thought, prehistory is even a deeper layer. It comes to us in little bits and pieces, sort of like our own unconscious. It's not really that clear to us. This guy, more precisely, belongs to page number 14, which I'll show you at the end of the video. Page 15 isn't right next to page 14 because of the way of the book's binding, but I'll talk about that another time. And on that note, I will end this journal entry. 4th of September, 2021.